Middle school is the age, 12, 13, 14 is when kids are making those decisions.
14 to 15 years old.
My exposure to the gang problem has come from visiting schools.
Don't you think that by the time kids get to middle school, they've decided that either they're going to be involved in gangs or they're not?
I have been in A.C. Davis High School in Yakima and been told they've got 400 or 500 kids who affiliate with gangs. So many young people are being recruited to join street gangs. They want the kids who are good at math. They want the smart kids. They're using them, right? They want them to commit the crimes. They want them to carry the guns. They want them to do the shootings. The amount of gang violence in Washington State has dramatically increased in the last several years. It's obviously a serious concern, not just the violence, but the fact that more people are joining gangs.
The problem has been kind of steadily increasing.
The homicide rate has doubled in the last 3 years. Communities disbanded, the police department or sheriff's department disbanded their gang units back in the late 80s and early 90s because we had a lot of success in those days in going after gangs, and they were so successful they said, well, we don't really need a gang unit anymore, we can put these officers out on another assignment. Now these officers have been pulled back in to expanded or newly formed gang units precisely because this problem has become so severe.
Crimes include mostly violent crimes against each other or within their enemy gangs, but we have colleges here and schools. We've seen a lot of vehicle prowls lately. They're getting involved more and more in burglaries or mailbox thefts. They're getting involved with that.
We have a lot of thefts, burglaries where they're breaking in to steal stuff to get money. Obviously drinking, MIP and MICs. Assaults when they get into fights with each other.
Weapons could include anything they can get their hands on.
Baseball bats, knives, obviously some guns.
A couple months ago we had a huge gang fight at the St. Patrick's Church that included axe handles to the things that we call thunder sticks that the baseball players use that looks like a bat, but it's the whole long stick is the width of the handle of the bat, and it's loaded with lead. We commonly see brass knuckles. Almost every gang member or affiliate has at least one knife on him, and we're starting to see more and more guns on the people.
A zero tolerance.
You get booted out of school for doing graffiti, anything that's gang oriented. You got gang stuff on your notebook, on your backpack. They don't allow that. We don't allow that at the school. So there is zero tolerance.
A zero tolerance towards any crimes that involve gang members or affiliates.
The community has to stand up and say, we're not going to accept this.
We need the help of family and school staff, other authority figures, the juvenile probation, the adult probation. It's got to be a combined effort with all the people, citizens of Walla Walla. It's got to help because it starts when they're young, at home, or in school. That's where you got to start the prevention and the intervention.
The most important thing we do in the Attorney General's office and that I do as the Attorney General is to try to raise awareness of the problem in the state capitol and around the rest of the state as well. People need to understand what's happening in local communities, and they need to understand there's been a big increase in organized gang activity in our state. We're not going to solve this problem just with cops or with prosecutors or with prisons. We've got to win the battle for the hearts and minds of young people. We've got to persuade young people that there's a better alternative to joining the gang. Even if things aren't so good at home, mom or dad aren't around, and you feel like you need a group to belong to, we can give you a better option.
In this community, there's not a lot for these, for young kids to do, not just gang kids, but there's a community center for youth that's open 3 days a week. You have the YMCA that is open. I will say about the Y, not a lot of our kids have memberships or have the money to go down there right now. There's scholarships available, but there's not a lot of people helping them figure out how to pursue that.
We've got to invest more in those programs to, win this fight with the gangs. We're competing for these young people, for their attention, for their time.
I think that a lot of action needs to be taken on the upfront, early end, grade school, middle school. Unfortunately, you can kind of predict and see who's going to become involved in gangs, and I think there's a lot of good going on here in Walla Walla as far as these groups getting together and stuff, but I'd like to see some action out of the results from these groups.
The way the economy is and funding being so short, everybody has limited resources. And right now, we don't, it's called GREAT, and we used to teach it, gang resistance education and training. We don't do that right now because we don't have the manpower or the resources to commit to that.
We need more officers. Our state has fewer police officers and sheriff's deputies and state troopers than just about any state in the country.